Woke Culture has put out a video that says it is the 10 actors who ruin any film they're in. And in the thumbnail was a picture of Michelle Rodriguez. I was shocked. I'm like, Michelle Rodriguez? Really? Now maybe that's just them, doing some clickbait stuff, but I don't know how she would ruin the film. She's good in Fast and Furious. I've not seen any other film she's in, to be honest with you, but she doesn't ruin the Fast and Furious for me. She really doesn't. So let's go ahead, let's check this out, and let's see what other actors, let's see first of all if she's in this top 10, and then let's see if there are any other actors that I would disagree with.
It should go without saying, but the myriad of ways a film can turn out depend largely on which actors are picked to star. What would The Godfather be without Pacino's coming-of-age mafia son? What would Breakfast at Tiffany's be without Hepburn's coy and ditzy call girl? What would Jack Nicholson's entire career be had he not snarled, "Here's Johnny" through a splintered door? Now, imagine all of those scenes again, but with Tom Sizemore, Olivia Newton-John, and David Hasselhoff in the starring roles. Horrifying. You see, for every icon of screen and eternal moment of genius, there's an equal and opposite turd. Actors who have posted such routinely awful and pitifully cast performances that they're now dedicated to bringing every future project down to the same depths of drudgery as their previous outings. So infamous are they that the mere sight of them on screen is enough to warn you that the film won't be worth your time. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 actors who ruin any film they're in. Number 10, Eugene Levy.
Yeah,
Hollywood casting directors don't have an easy job.
No.
Movies can live or die by the actors who play the parts, and often, from the vaguest of character descriptions, they're required to pluck a seemingly perfect match out of thin air. That is, of course, unless the description calls for a vaguely offensive and painfully stereotypical portrayal of a middle-aged Jewish man, in which case they just call Eugene Levy. First brought to the world's attention as Jim's overly understanding father in American Pie, Levy posted one of Hollywood's first convincing awkward dad performances before the role became a staple of every teen drama for the next 15 years. So, in that sense, he's arguably due some credit for his trailblazing work in the field, but every single appearance since has been to peddle the same tired and obnoxious stick. He's the only actor to have starred in all 8 American Pie films, and he also managed a co-lead role with Samuel L. Jackson in one of the worst black cop meets white guy films ever to be inflicted on the general public, where, believe it or not, he played a vaguely offensive and painfully stereotypical portrayal of a middle-aged Jewish man. Number 9, John Leguizamo. If someone was to write a definitive list of Hollywood actors with instantly recognisable faces but impossible to recall names, somewhere near the top would be John Leguizamo, or that guy from Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet to most people. At over 50 years old now, John boasts a daunting CV and has been seen trying his hand at films in almost every spectrum of every genre. However, a significant inability to portray any emotion usually means that every scene simply results in him flashing his inordinate amount of teeth and attempting to squint or snarl in place of acting. With a brief diversion playing Sid in Ice Age, coincidentally the only irritating character in an otherwise brilliant animation, he's fallen into something of a crevasse as Hollywood's go-to for any vaguely Latino, wisecracking, drug-dealing, ghetto-running, slightly creepy local Lothario character. He no doubt now owns his own line of string vests and precision beard trimmers. Number 8, Chris Tucker. After the huge cult success of Boys in the Hood, Ice Cube had established himself as a serious acting talent. In 1995, though, he looked to expand his repertoire with his screenwriting debut in Friday, telling the story of 2 stoner friends who must repay their dealer. Cube starred alongside relative unknown Chris Tucker, and, in the minds of American filmmakers, something just sparked. Tucker played the painfully loud comic relief of the movie, boisterous, camp, flamboyant, and delivering every single line with a shrill and ear-piercing screech. Damn! Tucker instantly found a niche that nobody had realised was needed. His career since has been mercifully scant, with his Rush Hour trilogy and spots in The Fifth Element, Silver Linings Playbook, and Jackie Brown all he really has to show for it. But the mere sight of Tucker on screen now elicits the same eye-rolling, oh, here we go, response from audiences across the world, and it can only be a matter of time before another suitably irritating character is written to match his specific skill set. Number 7, Carey Mulligan. Starting her film career in the woeful 2005 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, Mulligan has become the woman Hollywood turns to when someone is looking to ruin a perfectly good book or existing film. She must hold the record for the most amount of films ruined in a calendar year, with The Greatest, Brothers, An Education and Public Enemies all taking a nosedive whenever she appeared on screen to sob or grimace unconvincingly. She was at the heart of all that was wrong with Never Let Me Go, phoned in an entire performance in the Wall Street sequel, and played one of the most inexplicably irritating and pointless female leads of recent years in the otherwise excellent Drive. She retained a semblance of critical acclaim and shame, but that was largely down to the fact her character was so insipid and humdrum that it might as well have been autobiographical. Naturally, when Baz Luhrmann's inevitable Gatsby disaster got into the casting phase, she was the only choice to take the delicate, whimsical and duplicitous Daisy and put in the sort of barely even there performance it deserved. Now, by and large, I think Mulligan's probably a really nice person, but her appearance on screen simply tells audiences that there's going to be lots of scenes where actors stare wistfully at things for no discernible reason. Number 6. Kevin James. Fat guy humour has been a staple of American cinema ever since John Belushi blew the roof off in Animal House. That's a figurative roof down, not a plot spoiler. However, there's a certain subtlety to those roles, and despite how slapstick and silly they occasionally seem, there's a genuine level of craft required to actually pull them off. Contrast to Kevin James, a man who has made a multi-million-dollar Hollywood career by doing nothing else but falling over, getting hit in the crotch, and pulling a confused face. From his breakthrough role in Hitch to whatever the f*** that was in Pixels, James has played the same extra notch on my belt everyman white male for over a decade without ever adding anything to a film he was in. Number 5. Megan Fox. I don't want to level too much blame on Megan Fox here, given that really what could anyone do with the directing brief of, oh, bend over the car for a bit, yeah? Whoa, there's a good girl. But nonetheless, Megan Fox is a harbinger of a dreadful film. Actually, do you know what? This is my goddamn list. Megan Fox ruins everything she's in for no other reason than her appearance usually signifies you're watching a Michael Bay film. Jennifer's body was fine. Number 4. Robert De Niro. Oh, it's almost painful to admit this, but for a longer time than anybody wants to accept, Robert De Niro has existed for no other reason than to make audiences go, oh, there's Robert De Niro. Undoubtedly the greatest actor of his generation and a man who will likely live forever in treasured DVDs, proudly displayed movie posters and popular quotes and references. De Niro is now a sad shell of his former self, sloping around from paycheck to paycheck. You see, sometime in the 1990s, between Wag the Dog and Analyze This, both Hollywood and De Niro noticed that he could do comedy as well. There was something about putting an actor so universally adored for his dark and dramatic roles in these slapstick situations that it somehow made them 10 times funnier. No months of preparation, no personal sacrifice for the method, just turning up on the day and reading your lines to huge guffaws. Since then, De Niro's career has been a procession of bad comedies, evil villains and kids' movies, needless sequels, ill-advised forays into horror, suspense, romance and nostalgia. Nothing can take away his legacy, thankfully, but the sight of De Niro on screen now serves only to remind us that most of the greats will one day give up on making things that people love and instead go for the things that will keep them rich. Which is a bit of a bummer if you're trying to enjoy a movie. Number 3. Diora Baird. Best known as film and TV's most popular rent-a-cleavage, Diora Baird's impact on most of her films is dreadful, despite her rarely even making the billing on a poster. Her roles are normally small, but they're such poor taste it's usually too much for most films to ever convincingly recover from. No matter how much plot, story or character is set up before her arrival, the sight of her face, although, let's face it, we hardly are ever greeted by her face, is the sign from the creators that, yes, we're giving up anything serious now for a bit, and instead we're going to ogle, screw, or gawp at this young lady for a while. As Missy Elliott once said, girls, get that cash, if it's 9 to 5 or shaking your ass. And, you know what, more power to Baird for making a mega fortune with the physical attributes she's been given. That said, when a corner finally appears to slowly being turned in respect to the way women are treated on screen, still having entire characters there as nothing but meat is a depressing reminder of how much work there still is to do. Number 2. Rob Schneider. It's not so much that Rob Schneider is one of the worst actors on the planet, that's a given. It's that he's one of the few who can ruin a movie regardless of how long he's in it. Take him in leading roles, for example. From Deuce Bigalow to The Hot Chick, Schneider can batter the same pitiful wonderful gags into an audience for a solid 2 hours, stopping only to do a montage or other existential by numbers reconciliation scene. Deliberately distancing himself from any serious acting and trying desperately to bill as one of cinema's funny men, Schneider routinely manages to take a concept that he thinks is hilarious, for example, man sleep with woman for money or nerds have to play sport, and beats it over the head with 2 or 3 third-rate jokes before stapling a happy ending to its beaten corpse. His biggest crime of all, though, Schneider is, for whatever reason, good friends with Adam Sandler and is quite often seen popping up in the latter half of his films to wheel out some bad racial stereotypes or do a line in a bad accent. His recurring "you can do it" gag in the late 90s remains one of the most annoying jokes in cinema history, and his continued insistence to pop up with a lazy portrayal of other cultures is not, strictly speaking, cool. You can do it! You can do it all night long! Number 1. Literally any musician. Whether it's a leading role or a quick cameo, it's a truth universally acknowledged that musicians can't act to save their lives. Blink-182 in American Pie, Bowie in Zoolander, Snoop Dogg in Starsky and Hutch, Alanis Morissette in Dogma, Keith Richards in Pirates 3, Madonna in absolutely everything Madonna has ever been in. Either they're there to parody themselves in a way that makes you cringe, or they're flailing around like a caught fish trying to make serious inroads into acting. Atop this mountain of woeful ineptitude sits Jack White for his cameo as Elvis in Walk Hard and deranged Neverland rancher Michael Jackson in one of the Men in Black films. The irony of the title likely completely lost on him for some time. Special mentions must too go to Marilyn Manson in Party Monster, which, to be fair, he actually got some decent screen time as a drag queen, and Gwen Stefani in The Aviator, because, oh dear God, Gwen Stefani in The Aviator. Performing arts always seem like such a natural crossover, and it's still a little surprising that musicians who can manufacture such a persona on stage can fail so woefully to read out a few lines convincingly. Of course, the only thing worse than a musician trying to act is an actor trying to sing, and the only thing that's worse than the two of those combined is Jared Leto. So, that's our list. Let us know what you thought by leaving a comment below, and of course, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Adam from WhatCulture.com, the man your tedious boyfriend ironically thinks ruins everything he's in, and I'll see you soon.
So, 3 comments about Robert De Niro. Totally disagree. I think as Robert De Niro got older, he needed to do some other things. And yes, when he found out that he could do comedy, he could do comedy well, he started to do more comedies. But that shows his range as an actor. He doesn't need to be this gangster, or doesn't need to be this whatever he was. He's been, brooding, whatever dude that he's been for the past 30 years. He's now changed. He's grown. And listen, Meet the Fockers and everything else that he's, in. Now, maybe some of them haven't been as good. I haven't not seen The Intern, where he's the intern to Anne Hathaway, anything like that. So, but I'd be willing to check it out. But it's Robert De Niro, and I think that's good. The chick, Dora Bard. Here's the thing here, and I'm gonna try to be sensitive here, because she without question, she is more than just a pretty face and a well-endowed woman. There is no doubt about that. But why are you saying that because that's the role that she is put in, that she's unwatchable? That doesn't. To me, that doesn't. No, that doesn't compute. If the role that she's put in is an attractive, busty woman, right? And that woman that she continues to play, why would you say that ruins the film? I don't get that. I never will. I mean, sure. Again, she is more than just the physical. But if the part that she's playing is the physical, why not just enjoy it? And the third part, the number one, literally any musician. That's a cop-out. That's a big-time cop-out. Because yes, there are musicians who are terribly bad actors, and then there are musicians who have put on great performances, and who can act, and who do act very well. Tupac was one of them. Ice Cube was one of them. Justin Timberlake is one of them. Eminem, the one acting part he did, he critically clean. He was being considered for an Oscar nomination for the movie. So I mean, that's such a cop out. If you just want to say maybe Mariah Carey in Glitter, because Glitter was such a flop. If you want to say maybe, people have talked about Rihanna was bad in the movie she's been in. If you want to say Rihanna, fine. If you wanted to say Madonna for, you just say Madonna for the movies. They said in that clip, Madonna for everything she's been in. If you want to put Madonna, that's fine. But just put every literally musician is such a cop out, and is such bunk. It is truly wrong. So whatever. But how about you guys? Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think of that list, and what you guys think. Who do you say comes up and ruins the movie? Who do you think the performances just ruin the attractive movie? Put your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.